You are in for a real treat. This episode was originally recorded for my other podcast, but for you, it's been upgraded and transformed, and now you have the Ask the Pro show. So everything mentioned in this episode will now be found on chrisdufay.com, plus so much more, as I've designed the Ask the Pro podcast and chrisdufay.com to give you exactly what you need to grow your business success and for you to have the money, the freedom, and the happiness you want, making a bigger and better impact to the world unselfishly. So now it's time to delve straight into this episode, and I want you to lap up and enjoy every single second of it. Welcome to Ask the Pro. I'm Chris Dufay, and this is where I'm going to give you what's needed to create the online business, the money, the freedom, and more importantly, the life that you want. And I'm really happy to be able to share this episode with you. This is where actually the tables are turned. I'm on the other side. I get interviewed by co-owner of FMA Strength Institute, as Mark and myself are running an exclusive set of workshops in Sydney and in Melbourne to begin with. And you'll learn more about it soon. But also, if you want us to be able to come to you with these workshops, do get in touch with us, because we've already had other people that have gotten wind of this and getting on. So we'll be planning that later. Now, in this episode, this is really bringing it back to what is a successful coach, trainer, and business, whether it's online or in person or in gyms. Being very blessed to have FMA come to me and want me to be the strategist for their marketing. And also working alongside with Mark, as you'll soon learn, Mark has had huge success in personal training, but also with really running gyms. So really with the both of us, you get very different angles, all encompassing of what's going on and what's working in the fitness business world. Mark really asked me in this episode, and we jump into some things that was really the fundamentals of starting off to create a thriving career in fitness, and you're going to get a very different answer to what the gurus and the PT schools are saying. Now, this episode is brought to you by My Body Blends. So if you want the nutrition and supplement products along with the coaching and the membership, be sure to head on over to mybodyblends.com. Also, if you think you are good enough to be an ambassador for My Body Blends, to get the wholesale products for yourself, to be able to refer your clients to the products that you trust and you earn the rewards, then you can head to mybodyblends.com. Find the ambassador page, super there, and you'll be able to apply. Now, to get the most out of you being here with me right now, and especially if you're interested in what's going on with this, then go to chrisdufay.com/fitness business mastermind. You can get all the info on the bonuses, and you'll be able to reserve your spot, as we are keeping this to a very limited number so we can personally go in depth with everyone. Now, I don't want to hold you up on this because we really get cracking into something. I really let loose a little bit in this, and I'm looking forward to it. So sink your teeth in, get in contact with me straight after this. I'm really looking forward to hearing from you. And as always, I want to say a massive thank you for you tuning into the Ask the Pro show and being a part of this. I am very blessed to have this grow on a day-to-day, week-to-week basis, and you being here, plugging me into your ears, I truly am honored, and I just want to say a huge thank you. So let's jump on in.
So Chris, tell me a little bit about your background, who you are and what you've done to date and how you've come to be today, where you're at.
All right, let's put this in a nutshell. So being a personal trainer from I was 17 or 18, obviously the first few years of being a personal trainer, I will be completely honest, I probably should go back and refund absolutely everybody, just because I was far dancing around and obviously wasn't really doing what I now know should have been done. But really, I built a personal training business, had trainers working for me. It was kind of like an agency model that I was running. I was in running the Sydney PT for like 8 years, and then I actually had the opportunity. I moved to Dubai, built up a personal training business in Dubai. I lived in Dubai for 2 years, and then I hit the trap with what I call like the time for money trap now, but I hit a scope of my success is at a ceiling, because even though I had trainers working for me in both Sydney and Dubai, and I had a completely full book of personal training clients, and I was charging a premium, like that's fantastic. And I kind of see, like, by traditional personal training standards, I was successful, but I was still capped with how much I could earn, because I could only see a certain amount of clients each day. I could earn because there's only a certain number of hours each day. And really it hit me when I obviously had our first daughter, Arlo. I was struggling to be able to spend time with her because I was in the gym all bloody day. And I was just like, I want more. I want to be able to have a bigger impact. I want to be able to spread what I know and how I can get results with people, with more people. And I wanted to be able to have the freedom to live around the world because I love to travel. My wife loves to travel, and we want to bring our family along for the ride with it as well. So being able to earn more money, have more freedom, and obviously really just focus on what I wanted to do. So I started my online personal training in Dubai. And then my wife and I had the conversation that we kind of wanted to move. We wanted to leave Dubai. We were just not really feeling it at the time. And anyway, we decided that Bali was where we wanted to go. And I was kind of like just started my online business. And I was like, I really enjoy this. And I think I'm actually pretty good at this. Like, let's just go with it. And anyway, it's kind of the whole like burn your ships and make sure that you take the island scenario. And anyway, built the businesses up, and now it's been 2 years living in Bali. We're kind of throwing the options up as to where we want to move, if we want to move or kind of like do something else. But it's really running multiple online businesses now and still really enjoying the journey. And it's kind of grown into coaching memberships, nutrition products, supplement products, and obviously coaching other people in the health and fitness industry how to build their business simply from avoiding my mistakes that I've made and just learning what's needed to be done.
So take me back to the early days, because I imagine people out there, they're working in a gym, they're getting themselves super busy. Now, you say from the outside, you were super busy. So, but in the early days, obviously you had to go out and you had to start learning, right?
Yeah.
So in the early days, I mean, what are some of the challenges we see personal trainers coming out of, for example, like the RTOs and being told, that they can be their own boss and make their own hours. So, like earn a great living, and it's all, the perception is it's quite easy, right?
Oh, mate, it's, and I see it time and time again. And I especially saw this when I was having to try and hire personal trainers for the personal training business in both Sydney and Dubai. And I knew it, and because I felt I was in the exact same position. You leave getting your personal training certificate, which honestly is an absolute rock bottom certification to get. Like it doesn't really scratch the surface of what a true trainer and coach needs to be able to really get results with clients and to be able to build a business that's, because we're told work your own hours, be your own boss. Do you know what I mean? Like, charge like what you want. And it's just not like that at all. You kind of come out and it's a crash and burn scenario that I see all the time because you're just not equipped with what's needed.
Yeah, absolutely. So then do you, in terms of, let's say, for example, personal trainers, like it comes down to, like you say, there's two parts, there's the skill of being a great trainer, and then there's the business acumen required to, to market yourself, sell yourself, do business and, reconcile your accounts, like even basic stuff. But even before that, do you find that personal trainers, there's, in your experience of mentoring trainers, that, that there's those limiting beliefs that come up around those areas as well? It's like kind of that them knowing whether they're good enough or kind of valuing themselves, or being afraid to kind of, try the stuff that you suggest?
I think it is the number one problem. That kind of story that we always tell ourselves of who we are, what we're capable of doing, and all of this is the thing that's holding us all back. It's holding you back. It's holding me back. But it's kind of to what level or degree are you able to push to? The belief is so common, as in, I can't do that, it's too hard. Or you've started and I don't have enough time to do that, or I don't have enough money to do that. And they're common objections that come about with everything. And I think any personal trainer or health professional listening to this as well, like you will hear objections all the time coming from potential clients saying, when you're trying to get them on board with you, and they're going to say to you, I don't have enough time, or I don't have enough money. Like it's the same objections that are really coming about that personal trainers are telling them. It's really not that hard to go out and build a successful personal training business. There is a very clear set of steps that you need to follow through with, like some principles to stick with. And at the end of the day, it's just kind of like what you said before, but it's like two factors that you need to do. One, you just need to get really good results with your clients. Two, you just need to let everyone know about it. That's it.
So how do you get over that stuff and not being afraid to, it's something you do so well, to market yourself? If there's one thing that it boils down to, what is it that drives you to put yourself out there?
Mate, that's a really, really good question and something I hear all the time. It's literally taking the tiniest first step possible. Like there is always an element where you've just got to grab your cojones and just say, all right, I've just got to do this. You know what I mean? It's not going to be nice. It's not going to be great. Like let's say, for example, someone knows, I've got to shoot some videos to be able to get that content, to get my expertise out there. And a lot of people are like, oh no, I can't shoot a video of myself and like put that out on the internet or put it on Facebook or do a live stream or something like that. And it's literally the same objection I hear from 95% of clients coming on board with me. And it's like, look, let's just take the first little steps. Like you've just got to be able to get a little bit of progress and it will build on. Like by all means, like running 2 podcasts myself, like shooting and probably publishing about 4 videos average every single week. Like I've got to shoot actually like 2 videos after we do this interview. It's progress. Like I never got to this point. I never started at this point, but now it's kind of like, oh, I'm completely comfortable with doing these things because I know this is what I need to do. So just take that first step and just give it a go. Like if it's shooting video, shoot a video because guess what? If you don't like it, you don't publish it. It's all good.
So you got to put yourself out there. I mean, I remember a line that someone told me. It was that, successful people take immediate action. It's one of my coaches. And no doubt you getting to this point you've had to deal with a lot of this stuff, but is putting yourself out there, it's constant personal development, right?
Absolutely. And I think I'm happy to toot my horn because I do believe this. I think one of the strengths I do have, and you could probably, or we'll see, attest to this from us working together as well with FMA, is speed of implementation. Like we've got the idea. Now let's just act on it straight away. Let's get this up and running. Like let's make these changes. Let's do this. Like you've just got to be able to do it. And I think Tony Robbins says it really well. I'm going to butcher this, but he said like you never leave the point of making a decision without taking an action. Because when you're in that state of making a decision, that's when you need to start. That's when you need to do that very first step straight away to get that ball rolling because it's always progress. Yeah,
absolutely. Awesome line. So, Chris, tell me, before you start teaching, these simple steps to take, it's the how and the what stuff, to be successful. Like, what are some of the questions that you want to be, in your programs getting across that people, really need to think about first?
At the end of the day, you've got to know who you are and you've got to know your uniqueness and you've got to know what you're all about and you've got to know what you want to achieve at the end. Like that's simply, it's having clarity. As soon as someone has clarity, that's the major battle won. And it's simply just being able to follow through with those actions. So like a lot of people will say, well, isn't the health and fitness industry, isn't it saturated? And it's like, well, yes, it is saturated, but it's not competitive because the thing is, when you have a clear defined marketing message or people just understand that this is what you're about. You work with this type of client, you get these type of results, this is how you work. You clearly separate yourself from all the competition. And it's just by knowing what it is that you want then you can start acting on that.
Yeah, it's really being clear on your niche, right? And so that you're very, very clear about who it is you want to attract rather than, what's the common thing on social media? It's a selfie post in front of a mirror, hashtag I got the pump, whatever. What does it mean? What are they the type of clients you want? Do you want body comp people? Then it kind of makes sense. So from the outside, you're kind of understanding where people want to position themselves, but it seems to be from the outside looking in. Obviously, it's only just a piece of someone's life. But is it about their training or is it about kind of what they're wanting to bring into their life, right? Because
that's really true. I'll just jump in here because I feel like this is something that so many people get wrong is they will look at big social media influencers, especially in the fitness world, and say, oh my God, they've got 1 million followers. Now, I know a lot of people that have huge ass followings, but it does not correlate over to the business success simply because if you're say, okay, look, this person's posting images of them looking shredded all the time, who are you attracting when it comes to that? And I think especially from, I take it from a coach's position. So whenever I publish a piece of content, it has to pass the question of, am I delivering value? is someone going to be able to consume this piece of content and have value from this? And if I'm just throwing up a photo of, hey, I've got abs, well, guess what? A lot of people have abs. Like that's not, but maybe you can then take that to the next step and say, look, I'm in, like, this is the way that I'm eating, or like, this is the way that you should eat. That could be even better. And it's kind of really actually delivering some sort of value.
So why as well, I mean, do you notice, in terms of people putting up things around being a niche kind of personal trainer, is something that you notice that, is there a commonality between the reason why they're putting up certain posts and how they're marketing themselves? Do you feel that, being a personal trainer, part of it is around some validation? It's like who they are, so they want to put themselves in that position of power. Like,
yes, it's the ego. 100%, it's the ego, and obviously the fitness industry is thick and fast with it, and that's the biggest problem.
So, how do we become authentic? Personal trainers that come out of the industry. I always ask the kind of question. Tell me if you do in your mentoring, but have you, as a personal trainer, ever paid for a coach? Have you yourself actually gone away and gained the experience and like the wisdom that comes from the exercises and the programs that you're actually prescribing to your clients? Or have you had results from those programs personally? Like, have you had that result? Do you feel like people are selling the result, but they come out with this attitude of straight out of a Cert 3 and 4. It's like, I'm just entitled to train whoever I want and be the strength coach. And they start doing their marketing towards it without really being authentic?
Mate, 100%. It's simply being inauthentic doing that. And it's like, you said it so well, and I don't want people to skip over what you said, is like, have you gone through this and then been able to have the experience and wisdom? Like, that comes from application. That is not theory. Do you know what I mean? Practical is where that comes. And that's why I feel like when people come out of, say, Certificate 3 and Certificate 4 in fitness, your number one job is to get experience. You train as many people as you can. And to be really honest, when someone comes out of Cert 3 and 4, especially if they're younger, like, unless someone really has defined and has more life experience behind them, they could kind of narrow into a niche. But I feel like you've got to get experience, and you've just got to get hours on the gym floor, training people, coaching people. And on the flip side of that as well, you bring it up so perfectly, like, have you ever paid for a coach? Like, personally, like, I used to get this question all the time, like when I was prepping for a show or a photo shoot or something. Like, I've had numerous coaches, and I would deliberately go to the best coaches in the world and pay them like their rates, and happily pay them their rates for them to coach me. And I would give up all responsibility and be like, I will follow what you want me to follow. And look, I've had some really shit coaches, and I've had some really good coaches, and I've been able to learn a lot during it. And I think that's what people need, is like, well, what does a good personal trainer mean? Like, what are the aspects that I want to be? What are the kind of qualities or characteristics that I want to bring to the table as a coach, like in my business? And you're only going to get that from actually having experience with it.
Absolutely. Well, let's look at the positives. You get the experience, and then you start realizing there are some gaps that you really want to learn.
Yes.
Like you say, if it's more in business, or it's more about learning about sales funnels, all the things that you've gone away and had to learn, you started realizing by finding the gaps. That helped you realize, I guess, what is your end game? Like, who do you want to be, right? Through experience. So
totally. And I think that especially comes from, like, it's a pet peeve, but people that sell information or sell coaching to people that is like, I will teach you how to make money, and they make money out of how to teach people how to make money. And it's just really, it's like, what? So the thing is, like, the only thing is I'm doing, say, when I'm mentoring trainers how to build their business, it's simply from using my past experience. But now I get the upper hand because I literally see what's working on a world, like, around the world, in all different coaches, in all different niches, in all different health markets. And then so we can tailor it so someone has a very specific go, okay, in your situation, this is most likely what's going to need to be happened. These are the steps that you can go through. But that's exactly what trainers need to do for their clients.
Yeah. So you notice trends. Yeah. So, mate, when it comes to the end game, the what you've experienced around your coaching. So from what I'm hearing, it's you are authentic because you've actually gone and done it. You've been a great personal trainer. You've maxed out your business. You've then leveraged time for money and mentored trainers, then gone online and actually built a business. So from what my experience is, there's no bullshit. You go and you've done it. Like, you've been in the trenches. So what are the common things that people come to you for as a personal trainer? I mean, once they get busy as a personal trainer, what are then the next steps, and how can you help people in the programs that you offer?
We're going to take a quick break and we'll be back in a split with so much more for you. Now, I know you're listening and tuning in because you know how important your health is and how this can also catapult your business. This is why I'm very happy to say that this podcast is sponsored by My Body Blends and my favorite, the superfood elixir, the powerful greens drink. Now, this is designed specially to boost energy, aids detoxification, enhances the ability to burn fat, supports healthy carbohydrate metabolism, and best of all, is voted best tasting greens drink. Now, myself and the My Body Blends team are looking for ambassadors to join, so you and your clients get the health benefits plus adding in a strong income stream for you and your business. The ambassador program, which is by application only, means you get exclusive access to sell My Body Blends products like Superfood Elixir to your clients, plus giving you the special ambassador pricing and bonuses. So once you become an ambassador, you can join the other top health and fitness players that are adding thousands to their week's income. Now, there is only a limited number of ambassadors we are taking on board, as this is a tribe leading the way together. So to apply and to join, go to mybodyblends.com/ambassador or add the checkout code that is Turning Pro, all one word, when you're going to get your own superfood elixir to order. Plus, you're going to get free shipping and a bonus to save yourself over $250 instantly. So just use that coupon code Turning Pro in the checkout and you can save over $250 right now, all on mybodyblends.com. Yeah, it's a really good point. Actually, it was funny. I was just going for my morning walk before and I got a message from a dude and he was like, "Man, I've been listening to your podcast, like really good stuff." And he was kind of asking about like coming on board the coaching, but he actually hadn't even finished his certificate 3 and certificate 4 at the moment. And I was like, "Look, to tell you the truth, bud, we're not going to be a good match right now. Like, here are a couple of pointers." And I gave him some advice and some steps and stuff like that. And I was like, "Look, just go run with it and then you can come back," because really, definitely with what I do, is taking a coach and a trainer or a health professional from, they've already got the experience, they know how to get results with their clients, but they need to take it to the next level. So especially whether it's you want to continue to grow your face-to-face business or you want to grow an online business or you want to do both, like it's completely up to you. There's still a massive element now where people need to learn how can you use the power of online, but not even online. How can you do the offline and online together? So I have a trusted system in place that is going to drive leads, grow your following. How do I turn that following in those leads into customers and clients? How do I actually have a proper business model? Like if we think about it, the business model in which personal trainers just completely regurgitate and think they have to follow is, okay, I train clients one-on-one and I charge in packages and that's it. It's like, okay, well, have you thought about, as you said, the end game? Like where are you actually trying to take yourself? Because let's be really honest, that can be a great scenario, but where does it build upon? And that's where so many trainers get stuck. So we need to then actually completely rebuild their business. So we look at it from the very get-go and say, right, from a foundation, what's your business model? And then we can start building all the other pillars and revenue streams so that at the end of the day, you can have time off, you can go on holidays, you can go and do something else, and your business is still going to be working and you're going to come back to it and it's still thriving. And like, what's the common scenario? Well, if you want to go on holidays, you're actually losing money because you're not in the gym training clients.
So let's get real, mate, in terms of your life, because you live in Bali and you run an online business. But what does it actually take to do that?
That is a really good question. I'm actually really happy you asked that. It is still, I'm not going to say hard work. I feel like people define the word hard differently, but you still have to be very consistent and you have to work with a serious ethic to make it happen. People think, oh, online, like they kind of think, well, you can make like millions of dollars and you're just sitting on the beach. I've never once sat on the beach with my laptop. Like that's not me. Like I'd rather sit in my office and do work and then go to the beach and like not have any technology with me. But I'm very structured because I feel like, especially when you go to the realm of, right, knowing that you have to see your clients in the gym, well, you have to be at the gym at that time. But when you can literally wake up any time of the day that you want, you can do whatever you want during the day. There's a lot of freedom factor, and I see a lot of entrepreneurs go wrong when they first start off. So I actually find structure gives me freedom. So knowing that I'm going to be waking up at a certain time every single day, I'm working between certain times. I know there's this, like at 2 p.m. that's when I'm finished my work day. I'm not doing any more work after that. Like that's when I go and train myself. That's when I go and goof off, go to the beach, like have time with my girls, that kind of thing as well. So it is very structured, but I feel like what the listener needs to be able to take away is the day-to-day process needs to be very aligned with knowing what you need to do. And I feel like that is the biggest thing where people go wrong. Simply trying to do 101 different things at once and not achieving. Like I actually had to give one of my clients a slap over the wrist because he was trying to want to do like 3 different revenue streams. Like it was like face-to-face, it was like on this online product, and it was a membership. And I was like, no, this is not how we do it. We do one initiative and then we build on going from there.
So that's been my experience of you. That's one thing where if it's the one thing that we need to do between now and Christmas, and people are wanting to take something away, what is like one thing I've experienced from you is it's like, what's that one thing that we're going to focus on? What's that one thing we're going to drive? But not only that, from my experience with you, and this is, for other people, once you do that one thing, you want to make sure that you measure that and that you consistently follow through on that.
So true. Like it is the best question you can always ask yourself, and you've got to go read the book, The One Thing, because that's like, it's where I take. It's not like I make this shit up. I just get it from people that have proven it. You've got to nail down what is the thing that you need to focus on. And that's why people are trying to do 101 different things. They're trying to run Facebook ads. They're trying to write some articles. They're trying to shoot a video. They're trying to do some letterbox drops. Like they're trying to do all these different things and build all these different, but none of them work. And it's kind of like the analogy, like you're trying to chase multiple rabbits and you won't catch one of them because of it. So you just need to narrow that down. And that's like, for me and how I operate and work, I work in like 90-day cycles. So every quarter there's like, right, you sit down, you plan the next 90 days and you sprint through it. So which means you can plan everything else ahead. You can plan, well, do I want to go on holidays? Do I want to go away? Do I have any speaking engagements coming up? What products do I need to create? What am I going to be launching? Like all these different things then fall into it. So it's a very easy process to then literally be waking up each day and knowing the few things that you need to get done.
So you can plan, but you can obviously also adjust as you go.
Totally. I think being agile is one of the most important things. Like I actually had to do it yesterday, going already through kind of the quarter that we're in now. I had to sit down and be like, okay, I need to make some changes. I'm actually going to take things away from my plate and look at what are the key few things that I need to focus on right now. Like for me, I'm just about to launch my book. So at the moment, I'm getting everything ready so the book can get out, be printed on the shelves, it can be sold, and it's all done and dusted. And then I can move on to my next one. And so it's just really knowing. And again, it just comes back to that clarity, what we touched upon before. Like, what is it that you want? What is it that you need to do to get there? And just do it. I don't think it's any harder.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. So one thing I would love to leave and I would love to ask you is, when it comes to how you're going to bring this to people, and I'd love to talk to the first thing being, one thing I've had from the experience of working with you is understanding the psychology of talking not only to what you do, but the psychology of talking to your audience and making sure that everything you do talks to that. So obviously it's the understanding of your why, your purpose, and then who is your target market and how are you going to bridge that gap with everything you do, from to marketing to sales to literally what your end goal is, right? Opening a gym. So you've taught me about psychology, but how are we going to bring this in a program to personal trainers that's really going to benefit them, the systems and tools? It's
really, okay. So like one of the key factors is really nailing this down to what's actually going to matter with someone wanting to follow through with. So like in the case of, if you want to build your gym, if you want to build your personal training, if you want to build online personal training, if you want to sell products, programs, supplements, I don't care, whatever it is, it's obviously first knowing what you want, then it's understanding who are you actually trying to serve and truly knowing that market. And then it's always thinking, okay, let me use the example, like, the About Me page of a website. Like every website pretty much has an About Me page. And it's actually one of the most looked at pages on websites. Everyone writes those About Me pages, like them saying, I've done this, I've done that, this is all the things, like blah, blah, blah. Guess what? Your potential customer does not give a flying rat's about who you are, what certifications you've got, and everything like that. Now, it does matter, but you've always got to think everyone is always thinking about themselves. So they've got to be able to understand. You've got to come from the point of writing that as in, or giving the message saying, well, what do they care about and how do I give it to them? So obviously it's bringing it down to the real basics of you sell on the benefits of what's going on. Like for an example, like you don't buy a drill, Mark, to have a drill. You buy a drill to get a hole. Like you're buying the end outcome. So that's what people need to always bring it back and get people to focus on, because that's honestly what counts at the end of it. Obviously having like this broken down, because there's only so much that we can cover in a 30-minute interview, is like, and I think this was why I wanted to be able to do, say, the seminars, was to be able to give a 1-day, let's seriously sit down and let's go through, like everyone sitting down in the workshop, let's go through what is it that you want? What is it that is really going to be critical for you to be able to follow through with, that then gets you the results that you want? And I feel like, especially when people say like, okay, I want to have a full book of online personal training clients. All right, that's fantastic. That's really good. And then they're like, oh, okay, I could probably get there in like 2 years. Or they're like, I want to earn $100,000 and I want to get there by this point. And I'm always like, I always push it. And this comes from like Peter Thiel, was, well, why can't you achieve your like 5-year goal in 6 months? And again, it comes back to what you said before, Mark, is like, it's self-belief. Like you've capped yourself. You said, this is my 5-year goal. And I'm saying, well, why can't it be your 6-month goal? So we wanted to really sit down and put this into a easy to follow kind of, let me hold your hand through this process and really set you up with what you need to be able to do. And that's exactly why I want to be able to run these workshops as well.
Beautiful. So it's the same thing as the marketing. You're understanding the personal trainer first, then you're giving them the tools that's going to be relevant to them, rather than just stuffing a program that's straight down their throat.
Exactly. Like, because it can't be cookie cutter. There's obviously, like I said, there's principles that we've got to work off, because that's going to give the greatest results. But again, it's just like someone wanting to get in shape. You can't give them a cookie cutter diet and then just leave them with that one diet and say, right, that's going to take you from 25% body fat to 5% body fat, because that's never going to happen. You need to be able to adjust along the way.
Beautiful. I'm so excited to bring this to people. I just think this is so real. It's going to give the skills that they're looking for. And it's really dealing with some of those key issues that actually stop you and then actually start you taking those steps forward. So when is this going to happen?
All right. So, no, actually, let me jump in first, because I think this is really critical. I think why you and I get so jazzed up about this is because it's really like there's so much BS out there when it comes to what someone needs to be able to do. And let's really draw the curtains back and look at what does it really take for someone to come about. And I feel like, you know what, like these workshops that we're going to run, they're not for everyone. Like you really need, you're probably going to cop a bit of a slap in the face, not literally, but figuratively. You're going to cop a slap in the face with some truth. But if you're willing to do that and you're willing to seriously face up to what are the things that you need to change and need to start doing, then you're going to be able to take some really easy steps moving forward to be able to have that open up. So we're looking at, I'll confirm it, and I'll pop this into the show notes and the links as well, but the seminars will be on Melbourne, will be Wednesday the 17th, and then the day after that will be in Sydney. So Sydney will be Thursday the 18th, and this is of August as well. So also what I'm really looking forward to as well when we do this, Mark, is being able to actually record this. So we'll actually have some segments and everything after it as well for obviously the people that can't attend or like are around the world as well.
Awesome. Great. Really, really looking forward to it. And I mean, mate, from both our experience, I think we've both had opposing experience and we'll obviously share that. But this is something that I just know it's a game changer. I know we're both passionate about it. So really looking forward to taking this to the people.
No, it's so true. And I'm really looking forward to this because the different experience from where we come from, like where you have excelled is not where I've excelled. Like we kind of took completely different paths when you look at what's happened. Like it's obviously the same kind of starting point, but then going in completely different directions. But it's funny how you actually end up coming with very similarities at the end of the day with what's actually brought about the achievement, success. I don't know, whatever. I'm not going to say I'm successful because it's just bringing about results.
Success is, as it is always as a coach, it's about seeing other people thrive. It's what you get from what you do. It's if you didn't do it for that reason, then life would be pretty boring because you'd just be looking after yourself all the time.
No, it's so true. And it's actually, it's a bit of a revelation that I had. Let's get deep and meaningful. It's a bit of a revelation I had actually a few weeks ago. It was like, it's proven that for you to be happy is actually for you to do something good for someone else. And it's shown in science, like with studies, that when you do something good, when you do a good act for someone, that raises your happiness. Even if you witness a good act, that raises your happiness. So if you actually want to be selfish and you want to look after yourself, and it really draws back to you doing good for others. And I'm pretty sure it's a Zig Ziglar quote, but it's, if you want to achieve what you want, you've got to help others achieve what they want. And that's exactly what coaching, teaching is all about.
So I love that quote from Dale Carnegie, the one that says, success is getting what you want, but happiness is wanting what you get. So one of the questions I really want to ask people, and this is, what makes you happy? You know, and if the response is, I don't know, then we have a fundamental problem. So if you don't know what makes you happy, then how will you know when it arrives? And this is what we really want to get clear on. It's, what is your purpose? What are you wanting to achieve? What are your key values? So that we know that you will know when you're happy, when you're working towards what it is you're truly passionate about. So if it's not working in a big box gym, or it is working in a big box gym but building a bigger dream, whatever it is that's your dream, let's start working towards it, because there's nothing worse than that feeling like knowing you're not working towards your purpose. It leaves you hollow. It's why you keep going to grab for things. So, mate, this is what I'm pumped to bring to the people.
Mate, I think that is so profound what you just said, and it is so true. And that is fundamentally what brought us to us wanting to actually run these workshops together as well, and everything coming after it, because we went through it as well. It's not like we had to learn the hard way. So it's actually figuring out, it's like, oh, actually this happened and we were able to get these results because I wasn't doing this and I did do this. And so obviously from there, we were able to go from and see and experience all the other trainers and coaches kind of do the right thing, do the wrong thing, and then put the pieces together for it. And I think it's so true. Like, you've got to know what it is. And then that's what we're here at. Like, do you mean that's what we want to do at the end of the day? We want to be happy. That's it. Like, so let's just make that happen. And if that means building a business that's different, more successful by what you define as success, then let's do that, because it really isn't that hard. Like, it's been done before. We're just simply modeling the steps.
Yeah. Let's start taking the next steps.
Done. All right. So let's make sure that what you're going to need to do is click on over to chrisdufay.com/fitness business mastermind. And then you're going to be able to get everything. You're going to be able to reserve your spot. We'll also make sure that all the coaching bonuses are there as well. So don't miss out on that. Otherwise, you'll be a true peanut. But mate, as always, it's been good going into this. I'm looking forward to what's to come.
Appreciate your time, mate. Me too.
So now it's time for you to click on over to chrisdufay.com. That's chrisdufey.com to get all the guides and show notes. And if you are wanting the workshops where I walk you through how to build your online business, click on over to chrisdufay.com/ start here. This is where I can give you the exact training guides and the workshops for exactly where you're at and the answers that you need. Now, every Friday I'm coming back to you with a new episode, so be sure to subscribe, and if you haven't already, you're going to be getting the world's best insights, the advice and the answers to give you the business, the money, the freedom and the success and happiness that you want. And I want to give you a huge muchas gracias for being here with me, and as always, get in touch with me via the site or via social, as Ask the Pro is about me giving you the answers that you need. So ask away.